swimming for life.
She had always been afraid of water. Ever since she was a little girl, she had avoided swimming pools, lakes, rivers, and even bathtubs. She preferred to take showers, and never stayed under the spray for too long. She had a phobia of drowning, and the mere thought of being submerged in water made her shiver with terror. But she had agreed to go on a cruise with her husband, who had insisted that it would be a wonderful experience for them. He had booked a cabin on the most luxurious ship in the world, the Titanic Reloaded, which was supposed to be a replica of the original Titanic, but with modern safety features and amenities. He had assured her that nothing could go wrong, and that they would have the time of their lives. She had reluctantly agreed, hoping that he was right. She had packed her suitcase with clothes, books, and a life jacket, just in case. She had boarded the ship with a smile, trying to hide her nervousness. She had followed her husband to their cabin, which was spacious and elegant, with a large window overlooking the ocean. She had admired the view, but felt a pang of anxiety in her chest. She had tried to enjoy the cruise, but she had always felt uneasy. She had avoided the pool, the spa, and the deck, preferring to stay in her cabin or in the library. She had read books, played games, and watched movies, but she had never felt relaxed. She had always been aware of the water below her, and the distance from the shore. She had hoped that the cruise would end soon, but fate had other plans. On the fourth night of their voyage, the ship had hit a rock. She had been asleep in her cabin, when she had heard a loud noise, followed by a jolt. She had woken up, startled, and seen her husband get up from the bed. He had looked at her with a worried expression, and told her to get dressed and grab the life jacket. He had said that something was wrong, and that they had to get to the lifeboats. She had obeyed, feeling a surge of fear. She had put on her clothes, her shoes, and her life jacket, and followed her husband out of the cabin. She had seen people running and screaming in the corridors, and heard alarms and sirens. She had smelled smoke and salt. She had felt the ship tilt and shake. She had clung to her husband's hand and prayed that they would make it. They had reached the deck, where chaos reigned. She had seen lifeboats being lowered into the water, and people pushing and shoving to get on them. She had heard cries and shouts, and seen panic and despair. She had felt her husband pull her towards a lifeboat, but before they could get on it, a wave had swept them off the deck. She had lost her grip on his hand and fallen into the water. She had screamed, but no one had heard her. She had sunk into the depths and felt the cold and the pressure. She had opened her eyes and seen darkness and bubbles. She had tried to swim, but she didn't know how. She had flailed her arms and legs, but she only went deeper. She had felt her lungs burn and her heart race. She had thought she was going to die. But she didn't. She had somehow managed to surface and gasp for air. She had looked around and seen the ship sinking in the distance. She had seen flames and smoke and heard explosions and cracks. She had seen people in the water, some alive, some dead. She had seen debris and wreckage, and blood and oil. She had seen no sign of her husband. She had cried, but no one had comforted her. She had called his name, but no one had answered. She had realized that he was gone, and that she was alone. She had felt a wave of grief, and a surge of anger. She had cursed the ship, the rock, the water, and the fate. She had wished she had never gone on the cruise, and that she had stayed on land. But she had no choice. She had to survive. She had to swim. She had remembered what her husband had taught her when he had tried to help her overcome her fear of water. He had told her to relax, to breathe, to float, and to move. He had told her to kick her legs and to stroke her arms. He had told her to follow the current and to look for the shore. He had told her to never give up and to always have hope. She had followed his advice and started to swim. She had kicked her legs and stroked her arms. She had relaxed, breathed, floated, and moved. She had followed the current and looked for the shore. She had never given up and always had hope. She had swum for hours and felt exhausted. She had seen the sun rise and the sky change. She had seen birds fly and fish swim. She had seen clouds form and rain fall. She had seen no sign of rescue and no sign of land. But she had kept swimming, and eventually, she had seen it. She had seen a green dot on the horizon, which had grown bigger and bigger. She had seen trees, rocks, sand, and waves. She had seen a village on an island and people on the beach. She had seen a shore and a chance. She had swum towards it and felt relieved. She had reached the shallow water and stood up. She had walked towards the land and collapsed. She had felt the sand on her skin and the sun on her face. She had heard voices and footsteps and felt hands and arms. She had seen faces and smiles and heard words and greetings. She had been rescued and welcomed. She had survived and learned. She had learned how to swim and how to live. She had learned that water was not her enemy, but her friend. She had learned that fear was not her master, but her teacher. She had learned that life was not a curse, but a gift. She had become a castaway of the Atlantic and a hero of the island. She had become a legend and a story. She had become a woman who couldn't swim, but had to learn how to swim on her own after a shipwreck. She had become a woman who had lost everything, but had gained something. She had become a woman who had faced death, but had found life.
Thank you for listening to English Audio Lounge. We hope you have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more audio stories to improve your listening.